17th century astronomers. That's named after a lady. So there you go. So check that one out. Okay, messier-minutes. We're only going to do 2 this week because we've got a bright moon in the sky. And so I picked 2 bright objects that we can cover. And then we're going to slow it down a little bit and pace ourselves into the summer. So we're going to wrap up the spring Messier targets, which is a lengthy list, over the next few sessions. And then we'll be ready to tackle the summer ones when they come into view. So the 2 we're going to cover this week are these 2 yellow symbols, which are globular star clusters. So we have Messier 3 and Messier 53. So Messier 3, center this up for everybody. This is actually a pretty bright one. What I'm going to do is I'll show you the simulated view through a 6-inch Newtonian reflector telescope with a 26mm Plössl lens. I'm just going to switch on the deep sky image and turn off the stars here so you can get a sense of it. So it's a pretty bright globular cluster. It's near the border between Canes Venatici, Bootes, and Coma Berenices. It's about 33,900 light years away. And it's just bright enough to see with your unaided eyes if you're in a dark site. So if you get away on a moonless night in a dark site, you can try looking for it with your unaided eyes. Definitely binoculars will work, or any size telescope, even from the suburbs. It's bright enough to see from there. The way you look for it is you want to look, my trick is to spot it. Let's see, I said midway between Arcturus. So if I get my little measuring tool here, between Arcturus and the double star Coralie. It's right on the line joining those 2 stars, and it's about midway along between them. When you're looking at it, you want to look for, there's a little triangle of stars around it, kind of a little trio of stars around it, which you can look for. You want to notice whether or not you see any variations in its shape. You want to look for, any details that you can, and how do the stars, concentrate or not concentrate? Is the halo sparse? Is it bright evenly all the way through? That kind of thing you want to look for. And you can check out this little double star right here alongside it too. This is 151 BPM, beta PM. Okay, so that's M3. Just bring these back on here. M53 is kind of easier and harder at the same time. It's easy because it's less than a degree from this star diadem, or Alpha Coma Berenices. But unfortunately, Alpha Coma Berenices is not that bright of a star. It's only magnitude 4.3. But what you can do to find it, at least to find the star first, is to start at Arcturus, look for his knee, Murfrid, and just sort of triple that distance. And that'll get you in the neighborhood of diadem. And then you can look for M53 tucked in beside it. Let me just center M53 up and show you in the telescope view here. So you can see it's smaller than M3 was. So you're not going to be able to see this one with unaided eyes, but definitely should be able to, maybe binoculars, but definitely any size of a telescope, especially if you can get away from the city lights. You want to look for the stars around it. So there's nice, interesting little star patterns around it that you can look out, and you can use these to help focus as well. And there's also another object nearby. So let me just bring up my controls here and add the NGC objects. And I'll come out. So there's just center this up here. So there's the star diadem. So they'll share the eyepiece view. You can find the Alpha Coma Berenices star and look for M53 nearby. Let me just bring up. So there's M53 near diadem. And then a little jog to the south is another globular cluster, a little fainter one called NGC 5053. So you can check out for that. Again, that's sort of what you want to look for, is the shape of it, how the stars are concentrated, and that sort of aspect of things. So that's it, just 2 for today.
Nice and easy this week. If anybody has any questions, throw them in the chat. If you ended up seeing anything with our Virgo tour, if you ended up looking there, let us know. I'm really curious. The Virgo cluster we did last week. That was my challenge to you all. I didn't, but it was too cloudy for me. So
Yeah. Next, so in 2 weeks, when we come back, we're going to do a deep dive into the constellation of Leo. And I'll talk about kind of the history and the story behind each of the main stars and the deep sky objects that are in that constellation. And there's some surprises that we'll have. So that'll be fun. And hopefully I'll spend some time giving you some more tips on viewing galaxies and some tricks and things you can do with Stellarium to help you with that.
we have no more questions about messier-minutes. I want to say thank you all for coming to another episode of Insider's Guide. As always, all of these targets we discussed with messier-minutes is on rasc.ca/messier-minutes and with the finder charts and some quick questions that Chris posed to you there. And we hope that to see you next week, 2 weeks from now. Have a good long weekend, everybody.
Yes, the full moon on Saturday. That's the one that triggers Easter. So we'll see you in 2 weeks.